Question everything in pursuit of your purpose. Ask yourself, what if?
Well, good morning, and thank you guys for joining us for another episode of our Pursuit of Purpose live series called What Are We Doing? I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm going to let Chuck introduce the topic of discussion for the day.
Today, we're going to talk about violence.
Violence. You know, it's every day these days.
Oh,
You can turn on the local news or the national news. It doesn't matter. Any news,
Right.
turn on social media.
mhm.
And it seems like we are just inundated,
Yes.
and obsessed
Yes.
with violence.
Well, that's the reason it's on there is because I think we are obsessed. We want to see the latest beat down or what have you, you know.
So the real question is, would you guys like to see us fight? No, I'm kidding. No, that's not real.
Say no. Please say no. I'm scared to death.
But anyway, no, we want to talk about violence today. And I want to give you guys a thank you if you're joining us, whether it be on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, X, or TikTok. We really appreciate our audience and your involvement. We want to hear from you. If you've got any input on today's show, we'd love to get your involvement. If any of you want to join us live today on this discussion, you're very much invited.
Right.
Just to let you guys know, this is our first broadcast, first recording in our brand new location.
Yes.
We moved into a very historic building in downtown Beaumont, Texas. The building's called the San Jacinto Building,
Mhm.
and the construction of this building was started in 1921. Which, if any of you guys don't know, Beaumont was a huge oil boom city, and that was the beginning of what we call the Roaring '20s. And this building was built during what is known as the Gilded Age.
Yep.
So
And you can see evidence of it all over. It's really, really beautiful.
So we are growing. We've had a lot of wonderful opportunities, and a lot of that is attributed to you guys,
Yes, thank
our
you.
audience, and
Thank
we are very grateful for you.
Mhm.
So something else, we got a new vault, and we're going to be showing that to you guys soon.
Yeah.
It's being outfitted for the show.
Mhm.
So you those of you who don't know, we have been for the past several months, we've been operating out of an old bank vault.
Mm.
Well, when we moved into this building, it's got an even better vault than the one we had before. It
It's
is
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to showing you guys that. Stay tuned.
Right.
Another thing to stay tuned for next week, I promised you guys on the last show we did 2 weeks ago, I promised you guys that I was going to bring some special guests on the show and let you guys help us name them. And that is we've got a pair of possums that we've adopted, rescued, or whatever. And they are the funniest little critters you ever see in your life. But we're going to bring them on the live show during our discussion. And Fuzzy Mac 505 says, "Holy hairless Batman." Yeah, we can rock the bald heads
That's it.
with the
That's
best of
it.
them. But anyway,
these lights are not happening, my friend. So they're not helping. But that's
so anyway,
okay.
but thank you for noticing.
Yeah. You know.
So as we said, the topic for today's discussion is violence. And I actually want to talk about two different angles
Okay.
about violence. I want to talk about, is violence always bad?
Well, I would say no, because there are some things in nature, maybe even in some man-made influences, where controlled violence actually creates new product. And so that's, there's little explosions and heat and various other things like that. So yeah, it's not all bad. Yeah.
So what is the key difference? And I'd love you guys to speak in on this. What's the key difference in violence that can have a positive outcome and violence that always has a negative outcome? What's the key aspect, key
What do you
difference of
think?
that?
Yeah.
I'd love your input on that. Hey guys, thank you for joining the show. Aubrey LaFoon, I see you. Thank you. Moreski Patriot, thank you for joining. Pepper DePanth, Famous, JB Carena 1, Boy Will. good to see you guys. Thank you. If you would, while you're joining us and we're having the discussion, share the live. Invite other people. Dennis Walters, good to see you. Earl, thank you guys for joining us. Beauty of Ode, good to see you. We'd love your input. Jalapeno, I love the handle. That's awesome. That is awesome. So are you pickled? Are you cooked? I mean, if you're in a jalapeno, there's so many ways.
Hey, right.
But anyway, so thank you guys for joining us. We're talking about violence. And I'm going to say this. Hey, Jalapeno says hello. Thank you for joining the show. Kathy Baldwin, he says, I'm the real Pepper.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Trey Elder says silver foxes with a question mark. I don't know. I'm not sure about all that.
Hey, you know,
But let's see. If any of you guys want to join live on the discussion, just drop it in the chat and say, I'd like to join, and I'll key you in.
Mhm.
Alan Galatas 4, it's good to see you. Pepper says cool dress shirt. I don't know which one of us has the cool dress shirt, but I'll give it to you.
Go with him. No, look at that. This is summer wardrobe here, friends. This is nice, right?
Well,
yeah.
so I'm going to say this. In my life, what I've seen and what I've noticed about violence is that it absolutely can have a positive impact or a negative result.
Yep.
And the key difference that I've seen is discipline.
Mm.
A person with discipline to control themselves will learn when a violence is appropriate.
Yes.
And then Pepper the Panther says it's hereditary. Hey, we got two Peppers on here. We got Jalapeno and Pepper the Panther.
Okay.
So when violence is appropriate, a person who behaves and practices discipline
Mhm.
will be able to enact such violence
Mhm.
in a way that has a more productive or creative, positive outcome.
Okay.
And Pepper the Panther says, hurt people hurt. And that is a fact. That is true.
Mhm.
Jalapeno says it's spicy today. I think it's spicy every day because I love the spiciness.
Yes,
But anyway, and it is true. Hurt people hurt.
they do. Hurt people.
And typically
That's
hurt
right.
people practice less discipline
Yes.
because they're coming from a place of reaction
right.
instead of a place of abundance or creativity.
Right.
And that's really sad.
It is. There's 3 H's that I go over as a counselor quite often because most of the time people come in because of those hurts. So tell me where it hurts. Okay. Tell me what habits you form against that hurt and what are you hung up on? Hurts, habits, and hangups. And we go over that constantly until we start breaking molds. And you know what they learn? They learn how much power they actually have and how much power they've given away. And so maybe that's part of violence, the negative kind is because these people cannot learn to control, their own power. And so they're trying to extract it from other people through violence and its cousins, intimidation, trauma, terror, those sorts of things. To me, that would be definitely those negatives and definitely that lack of discipline.
Pepper the Panther says, I've been in therapy for 8 years. I'm very, very proud of you and grateful
Yes.
for your humility in admitting that.
Yes.
Hopefully there's some very positive progress for you.
Yes.
Hopefully you're finding fulfillment more and more so in your life. And I hope that you are finding outlets for growth and being a creator. And Pepper the Panther says, hey, I'm better each day. That's excellent. That's what I want.
There we go.
That's beautiful.
There we go.
Thank you for sharing that. That is
Yes.
that means your therapist would be very proud to hear you say that.
That's right.
Be very, very grateful for you sharing that.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Hey, Eli Reagan, thank you for joining us today. So Ward Kirkpatrick, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. So anyway, back to where we were about the violence
Mhm.
thing. You mentioned a word that's so important, that word power.
Power.
And what we're seeing a huge rise in is violence in young people. The younger and younger people are showing up in the news. We had a young lady, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but we had a young lady in a town not far from us. We're on the Gulf Coast, you guys, just to let you guys know where we're located physically. Beaumont, Texas is located on the Gulf Coast. So there's a town, an island about 100 miles from us called Galveston. You may have heard of it. And in Galveston, a young lady, I believe she was either 14 or 16 years old, but young. And she just stabbed her mother to death.
Oh, my word.
She stabbed her to death. And right after she did it, like I'm talking about very shortly after she did it, she made a TikTok video.
Whoa.
And if I'm not mistaken, the reason that she said she did it was that her mother told her she couldn't see her boyfriend.
What?
So the reason I'm correlating this to when you brought up the word power, young people are seeking to feel powerful.
Yes.
And they are not being disciplined in how to properly use power.
Right.
So they're seeking power by any means necessary. And they're not being taught or coached. Jalapeno says he lived in LaPorte. So you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So they're not being taught, coached, or mentored in such a way to understand that true power is influence.
Yes.
True power is leadership. And true power is gained through humility,
Yes.
not violence.
Right.
And these young people are teaching themselves how to grab power
Right.
in very
Right.
unproductive ways.
A word I want to add is sustainable power. I can go grab power right now. I can go and I could take a rock and I could throw it through a window. I could do that. I could exercise that power, but it's not sustainable. You want sustained power. That comes through humility, because there's always a learning process. You have to be humble to be a student. There's no other way. And then it comes to building that confidence. And so one power thing that we like to employ, and that is the power of curiosity, the power to ask questions, the power to exercise whatever techniques you have to want to know more. I want to know more. And so we're constantly interviewing people, not just in formal settings like this, but just friends that we run into. And some of it is a little shallow, like what you've been up to.
Right.
But more of it goes deeper into, wow, how'd you get into that? How does that work? That's power. Good power, by the way.
Yes. So these young people, and as a human in our species, we innately understand violence to some degree.
Yes.
Little kids, toddlers, as they start to develop a social structure with each other, they learn to bite, they hit, they kick, they even will throw a tantrum and violently act out with themselves on the floor.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be against another person. And what they learn is, Peppa, I'm gonna address this too real quick, not to get off track here, but Pepper DePanther says knowledge is true power. I'm gonna go with you a little bit. I'm gonna kind of redirect that slightly. The proper application of knowledge, the proper action with an understanding of knowledge is power.
Yes.
Because the application of knowledge properly used causes influence.
Right. Think of it like this. How many people do you know in your life that have read countless numbers of like self-help books, self-improvement books, and they just constantly consuming, but yet they don't seem to make too many differences in their life because they missed out on the application opportunity, or they either let it pass by, or they really don't want to change. So the knowledge part's great. So once I figure out as a therapist that people are these consumers of information, I just go down the same trail until they start to realize, man, I really haven't done a lot of work. So it seems to reiterate what Rob is saying, which is, yes, knowledge is that pathway to power. There has to be a practice.
Yes. So Brandy X says, hi, y'all from Tennessee. What is going on up in Tennessee?
Tennessee, yes.
And then all right, then y'all says, knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Pepper DePanther says, talking the talk without walking the walk. Yes.
Yes.
Wickety split. What's going on, Kevin Bailey? It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. He says, "Oh my gosh, guys, I miss you. How you been?" We're doing great.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, just to let you know, we're in a new location now. We've actually within this room where we're sitting, we're going to have somewhere between 3 and 5 different podcast sets. So we're going to have one where you can see out the window, and we're going to be moving towards some live shows where we're going to probably invite public to come be a part of the audience and do a live audience. So no, Kevin, we're not in Ohio. We're in Texas. We're in Southeast Texas.
That's right. And as was mentioned, and thank you, Kevin, for asking, we're actually in a bit of a historic part of Beaumont, Texas. A lot of this was built in that early 20th century. We're talking pre-20s, and we're right in the middle of a neighborhood of that. It's going to be really neat to showcase this as we go.
So Jim Wilson says, "What's up, gentlemen? Intelligence is useless without common sense to balance it." I don't disagree with you on that.
Correct.
No disagreement.
That's right.
All right, Danielle. Hey, Texas boy here too. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Y'all with us.
Yeah.
We're going to go in yonder. Go in yonder and get it done. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But yeah. But no, we are happy to have y'all with us. And thank you all for being a part of our audience. And for those of you just joining us, like Wickety Split, old Kevin Bailey, we're talking about violence today.
Yes.
And we're talking about how violence can be a force for creation or good.
Yes.
Or a force for bad. And then we were talking about how so many people, younger and younger people, are finding power through violence.
Right. Like the young lady you mentioned from Galveston.
Yeah, I was mentioning that a teenage girl just stabbed her mother to death within the past couple of weeks, and then made a TikTok video right after that. So it's some disgusting things. Jim Wilson says, "You sound like us Kentucky boys." That's good.
There you go.
That's good. I like it.
Let me give you a Texas slogan. I tell you what.
That's right. That's right. What y'all know about that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, welcome, Kentucky. Appreciate that. That's awesome.
A lot of good things come from Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
A lot of good things.
Yeah, we have plenty of evidence in the other room.
So, but anyway.
So not to break it down too much, but where do you think a young lady like that, not even 14, 15 years old, just creates that kind of just unbridled violence, where she would not only take a life, her mother's life, and reportedly because she was deprived of some obsession, because it said there was a boyfriend, and mom said no. And so at what point did that young person stop adhering to some level of authority, whether it's her inner authority or her parental authority? I mean, I'm just trying to break it down in my mind a little bit. I mean, we don't have to go too far down that trail, but if y'all have some input, what do you think? Where does this originate? Because we're seeing it manifest, but where does it start? And is that where we need to target? Do we need to target some of those origins as a society?
So speaking of violence, I'm going to go off on a little rabbit trail here. My wife, if you guys notice, I'm picking up my phone. My wife just texted me. I actually kind of want to commit a little restrained violence against my children right now.
Oh,
so apparently we just got back from Charleston, South Carolina. Oh wait, Brandy says your youth has no coping skills. That's true, because they're not being parented with mentoring and growth in mind.
right.
Bullet 20 XRD says no father figure, no respect for anyone or anything. It's all material things now. It's not far off.
That's right.
Brandy X says an educator over 30 years, worked with incarcerated youth. Thank you for your service.
Right.
Martin says they call that failure to control your temper and life imprisonment. Yes.
Yes.
Jim Wilson says it begins in childhood. We need parental improvement. That is exactly right. I agree with you entirely. We need fathers, father figures, and mentors, not just men, but women too.
Yeah.
The problem is that we have too many fatherless homes.
Right.
We have created a culture that says being a parent is optional, especially as far as fathers are concerned.
Right. And that seems to be reiterated, because in a lot of cases we're even seeing certain segments of our of our American society that are wanting the schools to take over some of those things or other entities like that. I mean, I disagree with that. I agree with you guys. It starts in the home where the child resides and gets the most influence, and starts early. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, unfortunately because of the condition, but fortunately for us, we have been invited to be a part of a lot of fatherhood influences, various conferences and things like this. And we will continue to do that, to do our their level best to influence these men and the women who want to work with them to be the best possible influences they can, and especially over children, obviously, because it is fatherhood. So hopefully you have a place in your community where you can dive into some of that, whether it's some of your time or maybe mentoring or just some other financial resources. Please look for that, because I think that's the difference starts with us.
So Shaster. I don't know how to say your name, and I apologize for that. But she says, my dad walked out on my mom once his wife found out I was conceived. And unfortunately, that is very unfortunate. And thank you for joining the show today.
Yes.
And that happens more than people realize.
Right.
Happens quite a bit.
Right.
And it's tragic. And I hope that you were able to have, yes, affairs do happen. That's a fact of life, been going on since mankind was brought to being.
I mean,
it has.
I read the book of Origin. It happened then.
Yes. So Navarro Jose, it's good to see you. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate you guys. Peggy,
Yes.
Thanks for joining the show today. Brandy X says, a generation 100% raised by a device has no patience or stick with itness. That's very true.
Right.
Agree entirely. And that is something I was going to get into. So too many parents today have joined this fad, this lifestyle trend of procreating and then allowing their children to be raised by this thing, and whatever they find on it.
Right.
So it seems like the mentality of our young parents is, how fast can I get my kid a
Right.
device?
Right. So,
Whether it be a phone, an iPad, or whatever.
so procreating without participating. I just made that up. That's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yes, Shaster says, I survived and it made me stronger. Good for
There
you.
you go.
See, that's a wonderful attitude to have.
Yes.
You're going places. I don't know how old you are, but I
Right.
believe you have a purpose in this world to help mentor others who have been through
Yes.
similar things.
Yes.
Six says, show us your search history. Well, I don't understand. I can. I mean, I don't know what you'd get out of it.
I don't know what that means.
So, yeah, I mean, wouldn't do you any good. It would be boring.
Right.
Most of my search history will be about like talking about the topics that we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
especially on this device.
Right.
And on my phone, it's going to be about buying stuff for my family or buying stuff for my office or
Oh, yes.
all that kind of fun stuff.
Yes.
You'd be bored of it.
Quickly.
You're very welcome. So Maya Kita Janka says, again, is the society you have created. It is the society we have created. And I want you guys to hear me very carefully with this. I'm not pointing my finger outward. I personally take full responsibility.
Right.
And I believe we all should. It
Right.
doesn't do us any good to point up, to point out,
No,
to point down. It doesn't do us any good to point anywhere except at ourselves.
that's right.
I'm guilty. I can honestly tell you that for my kids that are young enough, I have one that's 27. So he was fortunate that his entertainment was get out of the house, go entertain yourself. So he had a whole different upbringing.
Oh, man.
Yes, Brandy X says we are all responsible. Big facts. Melissa
Yes.
Mills, thank you for following. Gianni Box, good to see you. Melissa Mills, good to see you. Let's see who else we got here. Responsibility for genocide and slavery, the death of millions. Well, we're all responsible for all those things throughout history, but I'm talking about the current things. Happy Tuesday to you, Melissa Mills. God bless you as well and your family and friends. Thank you for joining the show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And those things like genocide, slavery, other things like that, of course, consequences of a state of mind. Looking, Germany in the 30s and 40s and what they did to all their neighbors all around them. I mean, things like that, of course. And they did it at the point of violence, for sure, or the threat of violence. And I'd like to think that we are trending in a better direction, but sometimes I lose that optimism.
So Sane Prices said Dave Ramsey? Question mark. I like Dave Ramsey. He's somebody that I enjoy listening to. Sometimes he's not my ultimate favorite. I actually go back further. The philosophers and business people that I like to study are some of the founding of our industrialist era, and from that time, I really enjoy that stuff because I believe it's our fundamental foundations where we have our most successful principles.
That's right.
The Moral Forge says we are not going in a better direction. I'm going to tell you something, Moral Forge. I'm going to disagree with you. There are a lot of aspects that are showing themselves to be extraordinarily bad elements. That is a fact. But if you read the same Bible I read, and I believe you do, but if you read and believe the same Bible that I study, everything is ordered in a way. We're going the direction that is laid out for us.
Yes.
Whether we are all following the right path or not, I can't say.
Right.
But I can say that this wonderful life we live in and this creation that we are existing in is headed in a preordained way.
Yes.
So I can't necessarily agree that it's worse, that it's all going to hell or it's all bad.
Right.
I believe that we are living according to our purpose.
Yes.
Whether we are acknowledging it or doing it, consciously or not,
right.
We are.
Right.
Evil Dead Ted says, which Bible? There are so many translations. That's a fact. And I'm going to tell you, just to give you a personal aspect of this, I do believe that our common Bibles are incomplete, that we don't have necessarily the full version of it. So some of the verses that I really lean on in that way are work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So I can't judge you. Judge not, lest you be judged. And then I also believe in the spirit of what the Bible was written for, not that. I believe that every word in the Bible is true, but I don't know every word in the Bible because I wasn't one of the translators of the original text.
Right.
And I don't know what we're missing.
Right.
So I know that I can't judge a person.
Right.
I can judge behavior. I can say that, hey man, that may not be the best thing.
Right.
That may be destructive, but I can't judge your heart. And I also can't tell you which version of the Bible has the most truth in it.
Right.
But if you seek the truth of God with prayer and humility, you'll be blessed.
My 3 best takeaways from being a Bible student, probably all my life. I mean, I don't know a time when I wasn't, and that is there's a way to salvation. That's number 1. Number 2, how to treat myself, and number 3, how to treat others.
Yes.
And if you read it as if it is a book to teach you how to do those 3 things, and then adhere to that, you'll win. You will know what Peter says in 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 4. You'll know the precious promise that is there for you. And then you get to participate. And I think it's not just for us as individuals, it's us as a collective. As a society, there's a precious promise out there, but we have to choose to participate. And reasonable thinking would say you participate with all the healthy things, which is why we're addressing some of the unhealthy things today. So that way maybe we can see it and we can respond better to try to keep it contained. Or as we've implied a couple of times in today's show, how to use it with purpose. Is there a purposeful use of violence? Maybe there is, but it's probably not the violence that comes to mind when you think about it. It's probably something that is a different definition. Hopefully we'll get to before the end of today's show.
So JT said something. He said, narcissists say that. I'd like to ask you what you mean, JT. I want to know what was said that narcissists say. I will say this. Narcissists love to point out narcissists.
They do. They do.
So I mean, whatever. But
But I'll confess to you, I did something very narcissistic last night. After dinner, I had a chocolate chip cookie that was about that big. And my narcissistic nature knows that that wasn't good for me, but I ate it anyway.
So Acorn Money says, "Oh, I like that name. I like that.
Say it again.
Acorn Money.
Love it.
It's a seed.
It's a
It's going to grow money like our
yes.
tree. You
Yeah.
can't see it in this shot, but our money tree's right here with us.
And we're trying to make it grow.
Yeah. So Acorn Money says, so what do you think about all the alien stuff being released in Aliens Are Real? Well, I'm going to tell you this, Acorn Money, and I don't know how many people in the chat might lose their minds about what I'm about to say. God's an alien. He's not from here.
He's an extra.
Yeah.
Terrestrial.
Whatever God is,
Yeah.
he ain't from this
He's
planet.
not from Terra Earth.
And so that means that he's an extraterrestrial alien.
Even Jesus said that. He goes, I'm not from here. I'm going home to prepare a place for you. Like, wait, you're not from Earth?
Right.
Just say it.
So, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, a lot of people hate thinking of it that way.
Yes.
But what else can you say?
If you use the terminology, that's what it is. Yeah. On the subject, I can tell you this. I don't know. I don't know if they are future versions of us that are still around. I don't know if they're coming from other planets. I know we see a lot of things flying around out there. We have to presume it's not us, but we don't know. We don't know what our governments have been working on for years. But I will say this, no matter who they are, no matter what their intent is, it's not going to change my intent, which is the three things: serve Christ, serve myself, and serve others.
He forgot the fourth thing and get on my nerves. That's his fourth. No,
That's my daily intent.
yeah. He makes me want to enact violence against him
Yes.
in an inappropriate and uncreative
Yes.
way.
That's why I lift all those weights, because I'm scared.
Right.
He's coming.
So the truth of the matter is one of our viewers. Thanks for joining us today. The truth of the matter is says, what does the Trinity mean to both of you? You want me to go first? Go for it. So here's what I'll tell you. I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't believe. It's not my place. And that is one of those things that's open to interpretation. You can say what you want, but my beliefs are very personal. And I don't say that anyone else should line up with the way that I think or believe. I don't judge you one way or the other. So what I believe is that God is all three, and that all three are God. Just like us, we are created in the image of God. So that means that you are physical, you are mental, and you are spiritual.
Yep.
And I believe that the Trinity represents that same three-part being that we are.
Yes.
They are one and they are three, just like you. So that's my personal thing. I'm not trying to put that on anybody else. So take it as you will. What do you think, Chuck?
I think very similarly. I
Okay.
think that we are three-part beings, mental, physical, and spiritual. And I also think that all three of those essences in the form of deity live in us. At conception, it was put in there, and our job is to grow it and to excise it and to share it. That means, bring it out. And that's why sometimes when you read things or you're introduced to things and it resonates, it's because that's all that's the deity that lives in you. And I believe that. And my job is to live to not only honor that, but promote that every day.
So we have, let's see, Mopac 1. Why do you think there are so many wars and death in our world? Well, if you look at it biblically, it's part of being human. There will be wars and rumors of wars. That's the end times stuff.
Yes.
But there have been wars and disagreements throughout human history for various reasons, but they all go back to a very similar thing to what we're talking about today. The lack of discipline as it relates to violence.
Right.
If you look at what we're going on and you get down to the base of it in Iran, And you can talk politically. I don't care about all that stuff. I'm not getting all political on this.
Mhm.
But if you look at the base of it, as far as what we're being told, and what you can kind of ascertain, if you look at it from a macro level,
Mhm.
we have a group of people who enact violence without discipline.
Yes.
And we have another group of people who wants to stop that and is forced to use violence because it's the language of the others.
hmm
They have to use violence to stop it.
Sometimes you have to do fire with fire. Think about that. If you've ever been in wildfire country, you have to go make a fire break somewhere in advance of the firestorm and let one fire meet another fire. It's kind of like that.
So the truth of the matter is, that's the handle, says the battle has already been won. And that is so profound. So I love that because, in fact, we had a conversation sitting right here yesterday afternoon. And the end of the conversation was just that.
Yes.
That we allow ourselves to be consumed with anxiety, and we allow ourselves to be taken over by a what if state of mind negatively.
Mhm.
And we develop that when the truth of the matter is we've already got the results we want
Right.
if we'll just accept it and live in it.
Right.
Uh,
I believe in abundance, and I think that the abundance that is afforded for myself, for Rob, for you, it's already there. We just have to figure out the best way to bring it out. It's already there.
So Vin Surreal has some things, and he says, he said, notice no answer. So Vin Surreal is trying to talk about politics, and he's trying to talk about the president. And this show today is about violence.
Mhm.
It's not about politics today. If you want to come back on a time where we're talking about politics, you're more than welcome. We do this live show every Tuesday at 10, and we do talk politics sometimes. We even talk about the president sometimes. So come back and talk with us then. Quiet Storm the Divine says, Grand Rising. Mopac One says, what do you think about prosperity churches being built all around America? I'm a little unfamiliar. I'd like to know what you mean in your question. Mad Bass says, everything is politics, white man. Well, everything can be slanted politically.
Yes.
But today's topic is about violence.
Yes.
And I think violence is used politically.
Mhm.
And I think that's very detrimental to the growth of our society.
Right.
The truth of the matter is, says, meaning the end game has been answered. Yes. Vince Surreal says more stuff about the president. Mad Bass says, what you choke. Okay, I'll let that go. Okay, user and a bunch of numbers says, but politics today is violence. Now, I'm going to talk about that for a second. No, politics is not violence. Violence is used. Violence is used as a talking point and a propping point on both sides. And then actual violence is carried out in a political nature. It's not politics. It's a lack of discipline and a misuse of the force of violence.
Right.
And that's wrong.
Right.
So let's see. The only 1911 Nico says the only lives that truly matter are those who respect the lives of others. Well, I don't necessarily agree with you, because those that don't respect the lives of others, they still have a purpose. They just are not living in it yet. So I don't discount the value of anyone who may be not yet on the right path to creation.
Right.
And they don't have to follow my path.
Right.
But they're worth more than living in that way.
I appreciate where you maybe are heading, but it's implying that there's some can decide who has worth and some, or who matters, and some not. Everybody matters. Everybody matters. Now, our job as hopefully more mature people can influence folks for better is to try to help them understand the best way that they can become not only better, but find their purpose. And hopefully that purpose not only is to build something, but to share the fruit of that. That's purpose. And so they all matter. They just maybe haven't found it yet.
So MOPAC 1 helps to define when he was talking about prosperity churches. Thank you for that, because that is helpful for you to explain that a little bit. MOPAC 1 says churches preaching, the more you believe in the church, the more prosperous you will become. That's wrong. That's anti-Bible.
Now, when I say prosperous, I presume you mean financial, or is there other ways to prosper?
Well, it doesn't matter either way,
Okay.
because you can't put your belief in a church.
Okay.
The church itself is not the answer.
Right.
It's a living God that's the answer.
That's right.
The church is intended to be a hospital for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's intended to be a gathering place where people seeking healing, people seeking answers
Mm-hmm.
can go and safely, securely
Right.
interact with each other
Right.
and their God.
Right.
That's what church was intended to be. It's not a place of judgment. It's not a place of believing in the church itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a place formed for like-minded people to be able to worship and seek healing and answers.
Right. And I'll add one thing to that.
Yeah.
And their collective energy.
Yes.
You get a collection of people together, you can accomplish a lot. And I've worked through church, and both of us have, for years and years, on different charities and different ministries and various other missions and things like that. You get a collection of people together, church, a lot of good things can happen. So yeah, I believe in the power of that. But thank you for that comment on prosperity. I'll look into that. I don't know a lot about that because I don't congregate with people like that.
So let's see. Chuck LeMay says, are you talking about the violence being celebrated on the White House lawn? I'm going to make the assumption that you're talking about the UFC fight.
Yeah, not somebody storming the gate.
Not
right?
somebody storming the gate or a bunch of people forcing their beliefs on others in a violent way.
Yeah.
And using the White House to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. No, what we're talking about is violence that is not agreed upon by both parties. What you're talking about is where people agree to battle each other in a sport in that way.
Yeah.
There was none of those people fighting in those competitions were forced.
Right.
Or disagreed to get in there. They all went in there willingly of their own free will and accord
Right.
and made lots of money doing it, and they beat each other up.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it's no different than football. Football has plenty of violence.
Yes.
No different than
and rugby and others
all.
too.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Right.
It's just mano a mano.
Yeah.
You know. I mean,
and everybody that participates in that is a volunteer.
so no, we're talking about violence where one party decides to enact violence on someone who is not aligned with their purposes or mission.
Right.
Much like the person who killed Charlie Kirk. He didn't like the message that Charlie espoused,
Mhm.
so he killed him.
Yep.
That was undisciplined violence,
Exactly.
and there was nothing positive gained from that.
Right.
Whether you like Charlie or not, whether you agree with his message or not,
Right.
both sides lost.
Right. And Charlie is an example of numerous others, but that's something I think we can all relate to.
Yes.
That story resonates. You know.
So Bullet 20 XRD says they hugged after. Exactly. I mean, there was no
Right.
forced violence there.
I don't know if any of you have ever trained in anything like that, like boxing, or I'm a martial artist, in Taekwondo. So we would do mock tournaments all the time, and it would get, we would pad up, but the whole point was to learn how to control the situation. And so you would typically spar against somebody who's about your status, and in the hopes that never have to use it ever. Plus it's just good physical discipline.
So Peg says Jesus and the Bible are great, but men have made religion negative. The truth is that men created religion.
Right.
Jesus wasn't religious.
Right.
He wasn't. There wasn't anything religious about Jesus. Jesus was meditative. Jesus was peaceful. Jesus knew how to use violence with discipline. He knew how to be humble.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew how to influence people with control rather than force.
Mm-hmm. By just asking questions many times. That's all he did.
Yeah.
He would just you go back and read the four gospels about him. A lot of it was just drawing out of people the answers they already had, and he didn't have to do it with violence. You know what? I want to comment on something that she was alluding to. I heard this quote in a show. It was kind of a comedy show, but they had a little bit of a religious moment, and I liked it. This person said, "You know, God is perfect, but the people who interpret Him are not." That's us.
So we have someone in the chat that is saying some things.
Are they
Vince
violent
Surreal.
things?
Well, just displeasant. But I will say this: I find it fascinating the assumptions you make, Mr. Surreal or Mrs. Surreal, whichever you prefer, that you assume by looking at me that I'm white. That's very racist.
That is.
It's very judgmental by appearance only. You might be disappointed in the truth behind that. So I will say this about you, Mr. Surreal. Bless you. I pray that you are successful in your journey and that you find peace, because it doesn't look like, based on your comments, that you're living with a whole lot of peace.
Mm.
And I forgive you. That's okay. But anyway, so back to the topic. Deputy Dreamer, you're a funny guy. It's good to see you, though, Edgar.
Yes, it is.
Keep it going, my dreamer friend. Lisa writing, do you golf? No, not really. I've done it, and I like to do it, but no, I don't. I go out there and swing a club when I'm invited. Lisa, golf's violent. You're hitting that ball, and it doesn't like it.
Oh.
But no, I go out there probably once a year.
So was a hammer and a nail, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I go out to golf probably once a year because I'm a member of an organization that holds a tournament at least once a year. So I go play in that tournament, and I don't play well. Fortunately for me, we play a scramble tournament. So I invite others to play on my team that are really good.
There it is.
So I just sit there and provide comic relief and work really hard to keep them entertained, so they'll want to come back and help me win next time.
Yeah, I wouldn't call what I do playing golf. No.
Yeah.
I go to the course and I violently hit that little ball.
But thank you for asking, Lisa.
Yeah.
Do you play golf?
Yeah.
Let's see. So anyway, back to violence. Violence is a fascinating thing. And if you look throughout history, and we've talked about the Bible, there's a lot of parts in the Bible where violence resulted in a positive end.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a lot of our American history where violence created a positive result.
Mm.
And one of those, not the least of which, is the Civil War.
Yeah.
A horrible, tragic loss of life.
Right.
But the end result was freedom for more.
Yeah.
The end result was growth for our nation.
Right.
The end result was a belief in a future
Right.
for a true world power
Mm.
that would be a source of security and peace for the entire world,
Mhm.
not just one nation.
Right.
And I believe that without that cleansing,
Right.
we wouldn't be where we are today.
Absolutely. The prosperity in this country that followed that very unfortunate time was very fortuitous. I mean, look at how we're living now. And that is a result of those things, you know?
Let's see. Peg says, so are you saying violence is sometimes needed? Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. There's no argument against, like, you can't refute it. It's unfortunate,
Yes.
but it's a fact of life. Lisa writing says, what state are you in, sir? We're in Texas.
Texas.
We're in Southeast Texas. We're on the Gulf
Right.
Coast. We're in a little town called Beaumont, Texas. And it is named Beaumont because years ago, around the turn of the century, there was a hill here. It was a big hill. And what was discovered was that the reason it was a hill, it was an oil deposit.
Oh,
So they named it Beaumont, beautiful mountain, after that hill. And the hill's gone because they sucked all the oil out of it. So Lisa Riding here in South Carolina. I was in South Carolina last week, spent the whole week there. We got to see our son, who is in the U.S. Navy. He's a nuclear electrician's mate, I think is what he's actually called. But I like to say he's a nuclear engineer because I like the sound of that. But he's a brain. That's what he is.
He's brilliant. He's great.
Peg says, did Jesus condone violence or the Bible? Well, Jesus didn't condone the Bible because it didn't exist when he was alive. Did he condone violence? Well, he enacted violence. He whipped the money changers and drove them out of the temple when they were defiling the place of prayer and worship. Mm-hmm. So yeah, custom game room to you. Is Texas really that good? No, Texas is better. like I'm sorry, brother. Good don't describe it. Texas, yes. Texas is where it's at, baby. Right. And I got nothing against any other state. I love them all. I've right. been to a lot of states, and I find wonderful people and wonderful things in every state, even California.
Okay.
And I actually love. I haven't been anywhere that I could say I hated. But Texas is by far the best.
And there are good people
everywhere. Yes.
There are more of us than there are of them. I promise you. You know, but back to the comment about Jesus. If you study the exchanges that he had with people, he spoke to each and every person in a language that they could understand in that moment of their life. So the money changers and the problem with the money changers was not just that it was a market, they're ripping people off. That's what they were doing. And he had to make a statement to start to put that to an end. So everything he did actually was leading up to this apex. And the apex is as soon as he died and rose from the dead, then life was going to be different. It was never going to be the same. And it wasn't.
Well, and the fascinating thing to expound even further on that question is, did Jesus condone violence? He died in the most horrific act of violence that right. mankind has ever known.
Right. Right.
We crucified the Son of God.
Yes.
And Jesus permitted it.
Yes.
He didn't have to.
Nope.
He followed the Father's decree.
Right.
And he sacrificed himself. Like, yeah, sure. He condoned it. Mm-hmm. God's child says Satan's time is very short. Agreed on that? Mm-hmm. Peg says that's kind of my point. Good. Then we agree. So I'm going to bring something else up because it's a big topic of discussion. It even goes a little bit political. So if Mr. Surreal is on there and he really wants to get involved, he can. We argue a lot, and I don't mean we as in us, but we as a society. We argue a lot about these things, these little items called guns. And we call it gun violence. There's a sad truth that people seem to be oblivious to, is that a gun has never committed violence against a human being, ever. Ever. It can't.
It can't.
It's no different from your phone.
Right.
It's no different from that window.
That's right.
It's just a thing that we created for a purpose.
Right. And it sits stagnant until a person manipulates it.
And whether it be through defense or offense, the gun has never committed violence.
Right.
No more than a rock or a sword or a slingshot. But just keep that in mind. Don't buy the lie. There's no such thing as gun violence.
Right.
There's human violence.
There's human violence.
That's all there is.
That's right.
And we have got to take more responsibility for our behavior.
Yes.
We've got to take more responsibility for our youth. We've got to take more responsibility and hold ourselves accountable for the lack of influence that we've chosen to have on these new generations as they come up.
Right.
We have got to be active, not passive. And that's the problem. We are allowing technology to give us the freedom, the quote unquote freedom, to passively raise kids.
Right.
And that is, in my opinion, one of the greatest acts of violence against our future that we've ever done. And it's disgusting. And I'm not exempt. I'm personally guilty and
Mhm.
feel very much shame about it.
You know, the more we talk about it today, Rob, the more it comes to my mind that violence, as we know it, is an overcompensation for a lack of understanding. So the more you fill your mind full of just information, good information, process the information, talk with friends, get it really, really solid inside. I don't have to resort to violence because I'm taking away the necessity of overcompensation, because that's, to me, violence. If you want to give it an analogy, violence in the streets, that's all that is. And sadly, there are folks who are not solid in their thinking, and that's how easily they're persuaded. They are persuaded to go out there and do the bidding of another, and because they're afraid something's going to be taken from them, and that's just not true. You cannot take something from me that I don't actually possess. I don't possess anything. Now, I do have clothes and I do have a car and all that, but as soon as this life is over, it gets to stay. It's just on loan.
So there's two comments I'm gonna address, and I love it. Thank you guys for all your comments today and all your participation. Really appreciate it. So the one is, it's time for backyard gardens and front yard farm stands. That's by Custom Game Room to You. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you personally, throughout the history of being a dad, I have had different experiments with gardening with my kids. And every time that I've planted a garden, whatever shape or form it took, I did one time where my wife did something amazing for me. She got this carpenter guy. She did it as a surprise to build these stands that would hold 5-gallon buckets.
Oh.
And you fill the bucket, you put your plants in the bucket, and it's a really cool way to do that, even if you don't have space or you don't have time to cultivate a full-blown garden, but you can grow stuff in there. And man, I'll tell you what, the kids loved it. I'd be gone to work and they'd be out there staring at the garden or watching the bugs do their thing on the plants, or looking for worms that might be eating the leaves. And they would love taking care of it.
That's awesome.
So Lisa Writing says, you don't understand garden. Who said that? I understand gardening very well.
Yeah.
In fact, I've done quite a bit of farming and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I would encourage you, just like what was discussed, you don't have to go all out. You don't have to have a big yard. You could live in an apartment, but get a pot. Like right now in our house, one of the gifts that my wife's a teacher, and for the end of the school year, one of her students gave her a plant. It was an herb. It was basil.
Oh, okay.
And so my wife's not gifted with a green thumb. And so she gave it to me and she said, if this is going to live, you have to do it. So I took it and I put it in a window and I put a little tray under it where it could be watered. And I showed the kids that they could actually, take leaves off of it, pinch a leaf off and eat it if they wanted to. It wouldn't hurt them, And so now the kids love it. And they always ask, what are you going to cook today? They want to eat a food that they can put the basil leaf in to get the flavor. It's hilarious.
Nice.
They just love it. And our youngest two kids are still at home. They're 8 and 11. So, and they're obsessed with that little plant. And they'll come, hey, Dad, does the basil need water today? They'll ask me that kind of stuff, or there's new leaves on the basil or whatever. They're just fascinated with it. And I love that because for every minute that they're thinking about that or looking at that or whatever, they're not on an iPad or a video game or staring at YouTube, getting somebody else's influence in their life.
Right.
And then one of the teachers that they had gave them seeds as an end of the year gift.
Okay.
So I had a pot out by the pool, and they came up with the, can we plant our seeds in the pots out by the pool? I was like, sure. So now whatever kind of mess that was, whatever plants they're growing.
Something's coming.
And I'll tell you, they are so proud. So what a great way to, have an influence and an impact on your kids.
Right. And knowing a lot about gardening, what a perfect opportunity for a parent. And I hope you guys take advantage of this to ask questions. Well, son, do you know how that little seedling got there? Do you know? And then he gets to explain all of the beauty of God's nature as to how things go from seed to plant to food.
So Bill says, so what about the fact that the God of the Old Testament was so violent Now, I'll address that. I think that's a fair point, a fair question, at least. The God of the Old Testament had to use violence as a response to humanity's behavior. He used it with discipline, though, because if he didn't, mankind would have just been wiped out. For instance, the flood. Like, he didn't have to say, hey, Noah, I'm going to kill everybody else, so get ready.
Yep.
He didn't have to say that.
Mm-mm.
He could have just wiped it out and started it over.
Yeah.
But he looked for some salvageable remnants of humanity, and he found it in Noah.
Right.
So he definitely behaved with discipline.
If you're reading into the story, God always provides a way. Always.
And we are living examples of that.
Yes.
We are carrying on the genetics of the remnant from Noah. Like, there's no other way to see it.
Right.
So, yes, there was a requirement of violence,
Mm-hmm.
but it was violence with great discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I wasn't God.
Yes.
Because I'd have screwed that all up.
Oh, man.
But anyway, so we've got some negativity. So thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a great show. I'm looking forward to next week, Chuck. We're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna bring our little friends on here. I made a promise to you guys 2 weeks ago, and so next week I'm gonna fulfill it. I promised you guys that I would. We adopted some baby possums. It's something I've always wanted, and a friend of ours got some, and so we got 2 of them. And next week we're going to have them live on the show with us, and we're going to let you guys have input on their names. They're getting big, but they're hilarious little critters, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But so you guys join us next week for our next episode is going to be naming the possums. It's not going to be all we do, but it's going to be part of it, and I think it's going to be fun. I never imagined that having possums as pets would be that much fun, but they are hilarious little critters.
Looking forward to it.
So anyway, thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a great show. We appreciate all of you. If any of you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, Peg says, possums. Yeah, you'd be surprised what you can learn about possums, but they are they're some of the cleanest animals you ever see. They're North America's only marsupial. They can't carry rabies. In fact, they can't carry almost any diseases because their body temperature is too low. But anyway, they're cool animals. They're super cool. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Thank you guys for being a part of our audience. Thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. And thank you for being a part of the pursuit of our purpose. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next week. We'll talk soon.
Question every